My mother is trapped, save her, the alien child begged the man. The night sky over New Portland was thick with haze, a permanent bruise of violet and gray that pulsed faintly whenever one of the orbital ships re-entered the atmosphere. James Kepler stood on the edge of Dock 47, wiping grease from his hands, when he noticed the small figure huddled beneath the shadows of a decommissioned cargo shuttle. He thought at first it was a lost child, maybe one of the scavenger kids who haunted the ports looking for scraps of metal to sell. But as he approached, the boy, or what seemed like a boy, lifted its head, and James's breath caught. The child's eyes glowed a pale luminescent silver, reflecting the dock lights in strange patterns. Its skin was a translucent shade of blue, so thin he could see veins like threads of starlight running beneath. "Please," the alien child whispered, its voice trembling, carrying an accent that twisted English into soft, broken syllables. "My mother is trapped. Save her." James froze. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't even a soldier anymore. He was just an engineer who patched up freighters and barges, trying to pay off debts and stay out of the syndicate's radar. But those words cut into him with a force sharper than any weapon. "Trapped?" James asked slowly. "Where?" The child's thin fingers pointed toward the sky, where the faint shadow of the orbital station Acheron Prime glowed like a star with a bleeding edge. "The beginning, the plea." The alien child called itself Kale. He, or maybe she, James couldn't tell, spoke of a mother named Leora, imprisoned inside Acheron Prime. She sings to the stars," Kale explained, voice fragile, almost melodic. "But the humans, they trap her. They take her voice to power machines. She cannot leave. She will fade if she stays." James frowned. He knew something about Acheron Prime. It wasn't a prison, at least not officially. It was an energy hub run by the Helix Corporation, drawing power from captured cosmic radiation. Rumors, though, told of experiments, alien hybrids chained to reactors, their life force siphoned for energy. James had dismissed those whispers as conspiracy theories. But now, staring at Kale's shimmering eyes, he wondered, "Why come to me?" James asked cautiously. "I'm just a mechanic. You need soldiers, mercs." "You fix things," Kale said simply. "You fix ships. You fix machines. You can fix her cage." That hit James harder than he expected. Fixing things, that was what he did, what he'd always done. He fixed broken circuits, broken hulls. Once, long ago, he tried to fix broken people. He had failed then. Could he fail this child too? The middle, into the maw of Acheron. James agreed, though he knew it was madness. With Kale hidden beneath a cloak, he smuggled the child onto his patched-up shuttle, the Aurora's Edge. The journey to Acheron Prime was tense. The station loomed larger as they approached, its spires jutting outward like jagged teeth. Traffic control barely glanced at James's forged credentials. Engineers were common enough, always summoned to fix some reactor leak or malfunction. Inside, the station was a labyrinth of steel corridors and sterile white lights. Kale clung to James's hand, shivering whenever guards passed. At last, they reached the reactor core. What James saw there made his stomach twist. The chamber was vast, its walls pulsing with humming machinery. And at the center, suspended in a lattice of glowing wires, was Leora. She was beautiful in an alien, ethereal way. Her body shimmered like liquid glass, translucent and radiant, a living prism. Veins of light pulsed through her like currents of electricity. Her mouth moved in silent song, and James realized the reactor's hum echoed her voice, feeding off it, amplifying it. She was the power source. Kale ran to the edge of the containment field, pressing tiny hands against the barrier. "Mother." Leora's eyes flickered open. They glowed brighter than Kale's, infinite and ancient. When her gaze fell on James, he felt as though she pierced through his soul, weighing him, judging him, pleading silently. But breaking her free was not so simple. The machinery was complex, wires coiled like veins around her body, each one locking her deeper into the core. Removing her without shutting down the system could destabilize the station. James cursed under his breath. He understood now why Cale had come to him. This wasn't a soldier's task. It was an engineer's puzzle. Conflict, the price of freedom. As James studied the systems, alarms blared. Guards stormed in, armored and armed. At their head was Director Man.HFY, a cold-eyed man in a black Helix uniform. "You shouldn't be here, Kepler," Man.HFY said flatly. His gaze shifted to Cale. "And you little runaway. Did you think you could undo years of work? This creature," he gestured toward Leora, "is not a mother. She is a generator. A resource. She powers half the colony grid. Without her, millions will freeze in the dark." "She's alive," James shot back. "She's not a machine. You're killing her." Man.HFY's lips curled. "Sacrifices are necessary for progress. One alien life for millions of human ones. That's a bargain I'll make every time." Cale cried out, clutching James's sleeve. "Please, save her." The guards raised their weapons. James's mind raced. He wasn't a fighter anymore, but he'd survived war. He grabbed a plasma torch from his belt and cut into the nearest control panel. Sparks flew, and the lights flickered. The guards hesitated, afraid of damaging the core. "Shoot me, and you risk blowing this whole place sky high," James warned. "Let me work." Man.HFY's jaw tightened, but he gestured for the guards to hold fire. "You have 5 minutes before I end this." The escape. James worked feverishly. He traced the wires, deciphering alien tech fused with human machinery. The reactor was tuned to Leora's frequency, feeding on her very essence. Disconnecting it required recalibrating the output through auxiliary capacitors, essentially tricking the station into thinking it still had a power source. Sweat poured down James's face as alarms shrieked. Cale stood guard with nothing but determination in his glowing eyes. Finally, James yanked the last conduit free. The containment field flickered, then collapsed. Leora stumbled forward, weak but free. Cale rushed into her arms, glowing brighter than ever. Man.HFY snarled. "Stop them." The guards charged. James triggered the overload he had rigged in the side panel. The reactor sputtered, the lights died, and chaos erupted. "Go!" James shouted. He led Leora and Cale through the smoke-filled corridors, dodging fire and sealing bulkheads behind them. The station shook as systems failed. By the time they reached the Aurora's edge, sirens wailed evacuation orders. They blasted free just as explosions rippled across Acheron Prime. The station didn't fully collapse. His modifications kept the grid stable enough, but the reactor was permanently offline. Helix had lost its prized prisoner. The ending, a song for the stars. Back on New Portland, James hid Leora and Cale in the abandoned mines outside the city. There, away from Helix's eyes, Leora began to recover. "Your hands," she told James in a voice that resonated like 1,000 chimes, "are not only for machines. You mend what others break. You have saved not only me, but my people." James shook his head. "I just did what anyone should have done." "Not anyone," she said softly. "But you." Cale clung to James's arm, eyes shining with gratitude. "You are part of us now." In the days that followed, James listened to Leora's songs, haunting melodies that echoed through the caverns. She sang of her homeworld, a world shattered by human greed, of stars that wept when their children were taken. And sometimes, when she sang, the night sky seemed to shimmer as if answering her call. James knew Helix would come hunting. He knew saving one life hadn't toppled their empire. But he also knew something had shifted. One alien child's plea had cracked open a truth too powerful to ignore. And for the first time in years, James felt hope.